I have a demon in the background. Ah! It follows me around. And then I have an angel on the floor. Come here, my angel girl. Taro, Taro, Taro. She wants dinner, dinner. Anyways, welcome. Oh my God. I'm a narcissist. I'm watching myself on my phone. Hello, everybody. I had to reset my computer so that the camera would work, and here we are. It's working. However, my other light is not working. Therefore, I have a demon orb at the bottom of the screen. But we're not going to worry about that. We're not gonna worry. We're not. No, we're not.
No.
And we're just gonna soldier on, my soldiers. Okay. Today we have the Wheel of Excitement, and we're gonna spin it, and we have many things to discuss. I put it in the description that this is the Keyaverse, and I believe that the Keyaverse and the Hollisverse are in a parallel timeline, so I'm allowed to create my own verse. So welcome, everybody. I am so excited to be here with y'all parasocially, but of course. Now, where the heck is everything? Okay, no, I found it. Because when I reset my computer,
it's like
everything just went honky cronky. You know what I mean? And little Taro is hungry. She's like, yeah. You won't feed me. Okay. Spinning the wheel. Let's get started, shall we? We have the wax to burn, okay? It's a Wednesday night. Let's hit it.
Yes.
Yeah. Allison Mack. Do you remember who Allison Mack is? Allison Mack, I don't think we're going to have time to listen to the whole thing because it's quite long, but maybe we'll listen to a little bit at the top here. Allison Mack is the actress from Smallville. Okay, that was probably her biggest role, I believe, other than her role as a cult follower / recruiter in NXIVM, where she spent prison time for recruiting other women. And I guess, she technically, I think her crime was racketeering is what she got charged with and convicted of, I believe. But basically her role in the NXIVM cult was to be the celebrity face, one of the biggest celebrities in the group, and then recruit women into this special women's circle within the NXIVM group itself, which is the one where they all got the tattoos and all of that. So she was like pretty heavily involved in the bad stuff and the sex stuff that was going on in the NXIVM cult. Well, she was charged and sentenced. I think she pled guilty and got 3 years and served 2, I believe. And then she got out. And now she's speaking her truth, girl. She is going on a podcast and talking about her misdeeds. And from what I've seen and heard, she does admit to a lot. So it seems like she's kind of come to grips, it seems like, with her crime. Which at this point is a good thing, I think. But before we go on to this, and it's called Inside of You, Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. That it could possibly be the worst name for a podcast I've ever heard, but that's the one she's the guest on. But before we get to it, some guy 0000001, thank you so much. Some guy says, Kia, your live streams are giving me life. Well, I'm so glad.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying that. It makes me really feel nice. And also,
Human.
it makes me feel human. And it also makes me feel like
this spells cult. C-U-L-T.
if you watch these live streams every week, I'm sorry to tell you.
Oh, it's a cult.
And speaking of cults, we're going to talk about a cult. Okay, so Allison Mack, from Smallville to cult. What a trip. From Smallville to cult. My career, in a nutshell. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Okay, what a name.
Is here.
Okay, I don't know. I've never heard these people before in my life. I don't know who they are. I guess we'll find out, and we'll watch this until it gets boring, and we'll spin the wheel again. Here we go.
I am here.
Welcome. Thanks for listening. Thanks for, a lot of people are here, obviously, to listen to the Allison Mack episode. So just hear a few words from me. I'm not going to bore them.
No. Sorry, I can't do that. Michael Rosenbaum. He's drinking an A&W root beer. He's got an interesting setup, multicam setup here. He's got pictures on the wall. What kind of podcast is it? Like a movie review podcast, I'm assuming? Okay. Got an intro. Okay, here she is. Let's do it.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Jeez, it's so weird seeing you because, I knew you since you were like a little girl, not a little girl. But you were 18.
They call it TAY, transitional aged youth.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is. TAY.
It's not like
transitional age
67.
Youth. Yeah, no,
42.
No.
Is it something like that? Am I doing it wrong? What the kids are doing?
No, I think that is what the kids are doing. I don't really know either.
I don't know what it means.
But no, in different social services and social welfare industries and stuff like that, they call it transition age youth.
This is starting off rough.
Because your brain doesn't stop developing until you're 25. But at 18, you're now suddenly...
Michaela says, or Michael A. says, OMG, this is my special interest. I'm so excited. Michael Rosenbaum was also on Smallville with Allison Mack. Interesting. He was Lex Luthor. Oh, so who's the real villain of this podcast? We'll have to find out.
Cut loose and expected to be independent and successful.
Yeah.
But your brain's not fully formed. And so...
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
I don't think my brain's still...
Right. Well, and for men, it takes even longer.
Yeah.
So
they always say women change every 5 years.
Do they?
Or maybe it's people in general, but I thought it was women. Like, when you're a younger woman, I've heard from other women that like,
I can't wait for what he's about to say. What do you hear about women, Lex Luthor?
You are when you're 25 is completely different from who you are when you're 30.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the same with men. I think that men all of a sudden,
They never age.
I don't know if they ever grow up in
Interesting.
many ways.
Yeah. I think that's probably true. There's a little bit more simply, not to get super like sexist and gendered, but
Is that what I'm doing? I'm doing that already?
No. But
Yeah.
There is kind of like the stereotype of like men being a little bit more straightforward and cut and dry, and women being a little bit more complex and nuanced.
But you were always like, I don't know, worldly. Your family. Growing up, like, I know you went to like operas and.
Well, my dad's an opera singer.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah, I came from a family of art. That was it.
You grew
We
up
were just
fast,
art.
didn't you?
I in some ways, and then in other ways, there were parts of me that never really had the chance to.
Right.
So I was wise beyond my years in certain circumstances, and then incredibly immature in other ways.
Were you, when you were younger, like for me, I always felt like I needed attention because I didn't get it at home. So I was always craving for attention. Were you like that?
Absolutely. But it wasn't because I didn't get it at home. I got a lot of attention at home.
You did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it was because I started working when I was so young.
It's like 7.
4.
4.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
early.
didn't know how to read when I started to learn how to memorize. So my mom would read my lines to me and I would memorize auditorily. So my memory is insane. Like I went back to school when I was 36. And I realized I'm really good at school, not necessarily because I'm like super smart, but because I remember things really easily.
Remember?
Because she has the skills from the NXIVM classes that she was taught. And she reached the clear level. That must be it.
Do you retain things from a long time ago too? Or is it mostly like if you read something, you retain it immediately?
It's like that.
See, that's lucky. That's lucky, especially with learning lines and things like that.
Well, and I think that's why, because I learned lines through my whole developmental time. But I knew who I was based on the reaction I got from my audience. That was how I developed an identity.
Right.
And so when I didn't have a reaction from an audience, I had no idea who I was. So I was constantly seeking an audience, you know?
Me too. It was like I didn't feel comfortable being me. So when people saw me in a show or something, they'd be like, oh, you were really funny. I'm like, oh, great. I'll just continue being someone else.
Right.
Next one, next role. What is it? What is it? And that lasted, for a long time. I don't think it was until the last 10 years I started really digging deep and finding out why I have these issues and why I need attention or why I crave an audience.
What caused you to even start digging deep? Because some people don't ever ask this question.
It's just more about not
Get to the NXIVM stuff. That's why we're here, you guys. Come on, I don't care about this.
relying on
Sorry.
success, like not defining success as something
You want to jump off? Come here.
like being an actor, for instance, like being someone who, is revered by many, or people, you have fans and adoring fans, and it's like, oh, I like this, and it's like,
Go in the chair.
I feel like I never got the unconditional love, maybe, and so I was seeking it elsewhere, and I think that, unconditional love is sustainable, but
Sorry, everybody.
the attention, it comes and goes. And it's empty. It's like a colander, right? It empties and it refills and it empties. And it's like this constant need for acceptance that I'm good enough. So, about 10 years.
There's too many podcasts. I'm sorry to say. I'm sure this is very important to him, but I don't care anymore. I've heard too many people's conversations for hours. I have a low tolerance now.
Years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I started working on that. And it helped. It just, I explored my youth. I explored who I was as a kid and,
Lex Luthor.
things that I always felt less than.
Interview
And
your
did you ever go through that?
guest.
All the time.
All the time.
I mean, I saw the world is in a casting room. Do you know what I mean? So it was like everything was hierarchical. There was always somebody better and always somebody worse. And I needed to figure out where I landed within that hierarchy in order to feel safe. And I was so ambitious because the higher your number on the call sheet, the more validation you got, the more people
Right.
wanted to see you and wanted you to be around, and the more valuable you were in my experience. And so there was just like this intense competitive edge, and I mean, that was, really like that longing and that emptiness was what pushed me into what ended up being the cult that I ended up
Right.
kind of
Here we go.
doing crazy life altering things in. But
Don't leave this subject. Keep on it, girl. This is what we're here for.
But yeah, and then it wasn't until so my whole life people were like, oh, you're so lovely, oh, you're so smart, oh, you're so nice to be around, oh, you're so funny, oh, you're so this, oh, you're so that. And so everyone's expectations of
Which
me
is of course true. And 100% not inaccurate, just so we know.
were like fantastic. You know what I mean?
That's
and I was
hard
like,
to-
great, I will live into that. You
Right.
tell me who I need to be, whether it's through a script or through your perception of me, and I will absolutely fulfill that. But there was like a hollowness within that
Yes.
because none of it was calibrated to me and what
You
I
didn't
wanted.
feel it.
Well, I wasn't there. I was a shell that was
Right.
presenting as a person to the world, right? That was receiving me.
Yeah.
And then when I got in trouble and my life changed and there were all these horrible things that were being said about me, some totally earned, some really difficult and I don't necessarily think fair, but some 100% valid and
Which
fair.
ones?
And all of a sudden I was like, oh, I don't want to be any of those things. So if I don't want to be any of those things, who am I? You know? And there was this complete decomposition of my identity and this moment of like limbo moment, years of limbo in who am I? And then being in very strange and different, unique environments like prison, like a jail
Jeez,
cell,
yeah.
like the back of a paddy wagon, and like a courtroom,
Paddy
you know,
wagon.
like the center.
That's a word I haven't heard in a while. Term, it's been outdated for millennia, but okay, keep going.
Of a paparazzi huddle, like house arrest, where I was like, I'm still myself, but I'm waking up looking at a cinder block wall. So last year I was myself and I was waking up looking out onto fields of lavender in the south of France. And this year
God.
I'm waking up looking at a cinder block wall, but I'm still myself. So what is that? Who is that? And if I don't calibrate to your expectation or your idea or what you want, then I guess I need to calibrate to my expectation and who I want to be and what I want.
You're losing me. You're losing me.
And that doesn't change, regardless of if I'm in a prison cell or if I'm teaching in a classroom or if I'm sitting and talking to Michael Rosenbaum or hanging out with my husband, that there's an integrity that is consistent, but it was like the bullshit was burned off of me through the crucible of my experiences, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The shame, the guilt, all these things just, I guess, ripped you apart and like shedded your skin in a way.
Totally.
And it was like rebirth, you
Totally.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, you hope, right? I mean, that's the...
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Did you deal with depression or anxiety as a kid?
Not that I would have been able to identify. I was a pretty happy kid, but I was also very encouraged to be a happy kid.
You were a happy kid.
I was.
Your
I was a
parents were
happy
good.
kid.
They didn't push you into acting.
No.
You wanted to do it.
No. I mean, but it's complicated.
How could you at 4 years old? I mean, I think some people are in denial about that, fact. Like, how could you possibly know at 4 years old, like, this is the career I want for the rest of my life? Seems unlikely.
Right? Because when you had the personality type that I had, I wanted people to like me.
Yeah.
We
all do.
And so my mom, super innocent, had no idea what the industry was like. We were an artsy family. We were living in LA. Why not? My daughter's cute. Let's put her in commercials, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I start that. And then, well, maybe she should try an acting class. So then I do that and I love that. And then I get all this praise. And so I was a super happy kid. I wanted to act. I wanted to be in acting, but it was very polluted because the industry is really polluted and dysfunctional and is not a place for kids to be. It's a very utilitarian industry. Like, it's all about function. You come here to do a job. Your job as an actor is to be incredibly vulnerable. And
Yeah, I'm not getting remorseful vibes. I'm not getting, I have changed really, and I see the error of my ways as of yet. Let's skip ahead to the parts that were replayed the most. Cult. Oh, factor. Okay. It says cult susceptibility and accountability. Let's get to that part.
I wasn't like seeking power, but I won't lie and say that power didn't feel good.
Right.
And I definitely feel like that's something that when you're on house arrest for 3.5 years and then you're in prison for 2 years, you spend a lot of time thinking about what happened and how you got to where you are and what you did. And,
Okay, this is something that's going to come up with Ned Fulmer, and this is something that I do. So I'm criticizing them, but I'm also saying that I'm guilty of this. When these people have something that they've done bad, like they've done something wrong. Obviously, she went to prison for it, or Ned cheated on his wife and got caught. As soon as they start to talk about it, they'll say, you, people, they, as if it's a universal thing. Like, people will always, be upset when they get caught cheating on their wives. It's like, no, not people, you. Talk about yourself. And I think it's like a third party ability to like separate from your own actions. And I catch myself doing it all the time in therapy when I'm talking about something and I'm like, yeah, they do this or they do that. I'm like, no, this is me, and I need to like take responsibility for what I'm saying here as myself and my own thoughts, not just this is a universal thought. Does that make sense? I don't know.
didn't feel good.
Right.
And I definitely feel like that's something that when you're on house arrest for 3.5 years,
you're on
and
house
then you're
arrest
in prison
and you're in prison. That's not a common experience. That's what I'm trying to say.
for 2 years, you spend a lot of time thinking about what happened and how you got to where you are and what you did. And, I can't say you,
Okay, she corrected herself. Rant retracted, kind of.
yo-yoed back and forth between I'm the worst human being on the planet. I'm all these awful things. I am horrible. I, devastated and da-da-da-da. And then I would go back and I'd be like, well, no, I'm also like, I had good intentions here and I wanted to do this here. And I'll look at my journals and be like, I was thinking this here. So I don't think I'm horrible. And it was this dance back and forth of accountability and justification and confusion until
I'm curious to hear where she landed on that, because I feel like it's both. You can both be a victim of Keith Raniere, who is the leader who is in prison for life for his crimes related to NXIVM, but you can also be a perpetrator at the same time. So just because, you know, he was taking advantage of her as well and diluting her brain and brainwashing her into acting like this, you can still also have caused other people harm. So I think it's both. So I'm hoping that's what she's decided at the end. Like, okay, I realize both things are true. Not that I did nothing wrong actually and I was just a victim too. It's like, no, you can be a victim and also cause, you know, harm. I'm sure you guys know that, obviously. Duh. Samantha Well Brock, 8917. By the way, I think since the last time I was here, which was 2 weeks ago, they changed YouTube's usernames, because I see people I've seen forever and their usernames are different, and same thing on the membership. So I don't know if that's something I did or YouTube has changed, but just FYI, the usernames are different looking than they've previously been. Thank you so much to Samantha Brock. I have dyslexia. No, I don't. Maybe I do, actually. Now I'm starting to wonder.
The mango frequency.
That's for you.
Let's tune into this ankle.
We're getting a lot of that today. We're getting a lot of that right now.
Narcissistic, bully, cult leader.
Oh, okay. Cult.
Thank you. Back to it, Allison.
Finally, you settle into, okay, I'm a human being who has dark and light. I got caught up in a really messed up situation with really powerful people who had incredible ways of manipulating people over long periods of time. And what did I do that I need to sit with in my conscience for the rest of my life so I don't do it again?
Right.
And what did I do that I can forgive myself for? And then with that knowledge, you move ahead, hopefully with wisdom, and try and do better on the other side.
Yeah.
And one of the things I definitely contend with on a regular basis is like, how did I objectify people to the point where I thought it was okay to take away their autonomy? Like how did I get to a point where that was something that I thought was okay? And how did I get to a point where I thought it was okay to feel in power of people?
Right.
How did I get to a place where I lost my...
It's like feeling like,
How did you?
I don't know if it's a notion or whatever, but good people sometimes do very bad things.
100%. I have a really hard time with the idea of good people and bad people. I work with people now in prison who have done really horrible things. And I would not say that they're bad people.
Right.
And I know that I have done really bad things. And I don't believe I'm a bad person. So I believe that there are different psychological...
I tend to agree with that mindset of good people versus bad people. It's a lot more, should be more nuanced than that. But I do think when someone commits a crime, a heinous crime, especially violent crime, tends to overweigh any good that they could do. So I do think there's some things that are, I guess it's a spectrum, I would imagine, that some things are so far bad that you can never do enough in a lifetime to make up for it. And then there's some that are kind of like, okay, you can pivot back and forth. So I don't disagree with what they're saying here. But do I think, oh, I'm a good person and you can ordain yourself as a good person just because you feel that way? Not really either.
Things that are happening in people's brains that I don't totally understand because I'm not a psychologist yet. Sociopaths, psychopaths, mirror neurons broken down, things like that make empathy difficult for people. But I just don't know if I inherently believe that people are either good souls or bad souls.
I don't think you're born. I mean, sometimes people are born with mental illness, right? And so a lot of times they don't have a choice.
Exactly.
The inside of their brain looks completely different than ours. It doesn't make it okay, but it's tough. It's hard to...
I feel like most people's brains look the same. We've kind of come to that conclusion. Unless you have CTE, physically the brain kind of looks the same. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? I am not problematic. Where is that soundbite?
But also,
I am not problematic. It's got to be here.
People felt really loved and cared for when I would yell at them.
Sort of make that analysis on people that, especially like I knew you and you were nothing but a pro and fun to be around and doing fun things and had your friends, and on set it was. So when people asked me, I was like, I don't believe it. Can I believe it? And they're like, could you believe it? I mean, she was like me in a way that she always needed attention, but it's shocking.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so some people are asking like what she actually did. So I watched the Vow a while back, but just so I don't get it wrong. She was in Smallville. Okay, so she was a part of NXIVM, which is a sex trafficking cult and multi-level marketing company. Oh man, worlds collide. She was arrested by federal authorities on charges of sex trafficking conspiracy, and forced labor conspiracy related to her involvement with NXIVM and its subgroup, DOS. That was the women's group. She pleaded guilty to racketeering and racketeering conspiracy, and in 2021, she was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Okay, but what did she actually do? So she joined, let's see. She was a member of NXIVM that was headquartered in Albany. Okay, we knew that. She joined in 2006 after attending a 2-day introduction to Jeunesse, a women's group within NXIVM, eventually becoming a high-ranking member of the organization. She was the co-creator of The Source, which was a NXIVM program that recruited actors. She was also a member of Simply Human, an a cappella NXIVM singing group. Okay. And she was the MC of Acapella Innovations, a multi-day festival. Wow.
This is just stupid.
Okay. Hosted by NXIVM in 2007-2008, the events were billed as a university singing showcase and were alleged to be a front to draw impressionable undergrads into NXIVM. How bizarre. Okay, so the DOS group, which is called Dominius Obisquius Sororium. I'm sure that's how you pronounce that for sure. DOS, of which Mack was allegedly second in command. DOS was structured as a pyramid group with Raniere at the top and the only man in DOS. Okay, so everyone else is women. You see this chart here. And DOS was built around female empowerment, but mainly provided a means to traffic women for Raniere's gratification. According to prosecutors, Mack and others recruited women by telling them they were joining a women's-only organization that would empower them with Raniere's status as the leader of DOS, concealed from the new recruits. As a precondition of joining DOS, women were required to provide collateral, which included nude photographs, damaging information about family and friends, and rights to their assets. Recruits were told their collateral could be released if they left DOS or told anyone about DOS's existence. Recruits were also controlled in several ways, including requirements to seek permission, physical isolation, forced participation in readiness drills, sleep deprivation, extremely restrictive diets, and being subject to corporal punishment. Mack reportedly recruited 4 women into DOS, including India Oxenberg, daughter of actress Catherine Oxenberg. They were a big part of the documentary. As directed by Raniere, Mack and others required their recruits to be branded with a symbol representing Raniere's initials and the branding ritual following a script created by Raniere. Mack's recruits were unaware that the brand was composed of Raniere's initials and said that Mack had told them that the brand was a symbol of the elements: air, earth, fire, and water. Former NXIVM member Sarah Edmondson stated in 2017, that she had been branded in an initiation ceremony at Mack's house. In the New York Times interview, Mack claimed that the human branding was her idea. So the branding was her idea. That's probably why this blew up so big, because of, if they didn't have the branding, the actual physical burning of the skin branding, this probably would not have risen to the popularity level. That was such a gripping headline, like cult leader forces women to get branded, then that's when it blew up, honestly. If they didn't have that, I think this would have been more underground, to be honest. Okay, so she was arrested. Okay, we talked about that. She was concealing the Raniere's status. So she pleaded guilty. She faced a minimum of 15 years to life, but then I guess she pled down to that, and now she's out. So there you go. That's what she did. So not great. The branding, her idea, according to her. Let's skip over this, and then let's just finish her thoughts up here.
I remember sitting there, and I looked at my buddy. I go, "Fuck, I joined this," because it was about self-help, and it was a positive thing, and it was like giving you confidence and all these things, and people wanting to be better, and that's what and obviously it took a dark turn, and things started to happen.
Obviously.
So I guess do you remember where it started changing for you, or were you unaware? Were you think you were a little?
I mean, my God, it went on I was involved for 12 years.
12 years.
You know, and stuff didn't start to get really dysfunctional and illegal until like the 8th or 9th year that I was involved. So it was like a very stereotypical, now that I look back on it, grooming process that happened over a period of time. And, you know, I unfortunately have also been in an abusive relationship. And, you know, it was a different form of an abusive relationship where you make a decision to justify something that is a big deal at the time, but you're like, oh, okay, I can figure out how to make this okay in my head. And then that becomes okay and normal. And so then the next thing that happens that's extreme, you justify and figure out how to make it okay and normal. And then all of a sudden you're like,
again, you justify, you do this, you do that. You did these things.
Doing something totally different than what you ever expected yourself to do. But it happened incrementally over time. And you
feel like you're in too deep. It's incremental. So you're saying
incremental.
It's subtle. So these things are starting to evolve, and it's bigger than you are.
100%. And I mean, in NXIVM, you're dealing with a person who is, I don't know what his I don't know. I wouldn't pretend to psychoanalyze Keith Raniere, but he is really good at manipulating people, as evidenced by the people that he manipulated in the cult. You know, these were not stupid people. These are not people that didn't have resources. These were intelligent, well-resourced people.
And that's what I noticed too in the first episode that I was watching.
Yeah, who were longing for something.
Sorry, Shepard. Thank you so much. Sorry says, come on. It didn't get bad till 9 years in. I agree. I feel like that's highly unlikely and highly suspicious. Like, it was a perfectly run organization with no nefarious anything for 9 years. I find that, so he had a mental switch. I find that maybe she wasn't involved as much, or maybe they were keeping her away because of her celebrity status, but I'm sure there was bad things happening the entire time. If I remember correctly, things have been going on for years with like young girls coming to the compound and being left behind, and Keith having all these girlfriends, and they're all, I don't know. And the MLM of it all also on top, recruiting and but charging all these, you know, high prices, and hearing his video. I don't know. I just feel like that there's no way that 9 years it was pristine, and then all of a sudden the last couple of years it got rough. I doubt that.
You're jealous!
That's what they would tell me.
Silly, dumb, incapable.
That's what they told me when I tried to join.
Somebody ought to smack you!
That's what Allison said to the people she wanted to recruit. Okay.
That he said, I can help you with. And then he gave just the right amount of help to get you to believe that you needed him to be good, to do what you wanted to do in your life, to heal yourself,
you
to be a kind person.
invested a lot of time in this.
100%. 100%. And the return on the investment, there were positives, right? So you're like, well, this was good, and I feel better here. So, okay, I'll justify doing this other thing. You know, it wasn't like it was all dark and all bad and all abusive, like at the gate.
Right.
It was great, and then it was not great.
Right.
You know?
But did you see people leaving at a certain point? Did that concern you? Like, oh, they're leaving. Was there any kind of talk like why they were leaving, or
there was always a justification. There was always like, oh, well, it's because of this person's psychodynamic and this fear that they came up against that they just weren't able to get past. It was that growth just wasn't that important to them. It was that they couldn't.
And that's coming from Keith?
Keith and yeah.
Right.
And then everybody. You know, it starts with Keith, and then it's a cult, right? So it's this insidious little community where everybody stays connected to each other, and everybody's reinforcing the belief system that everybody has, and And then you get in so deep that you're like, I mean, and that was the problem that I really came up against, you know, which is why I would say it took me a year to really come to terms with what had happened. Because if I recognize that I was wrong and that everything that we were doing was for bad things, not for good things, then I have to attend with the fact that I did some really bad things. And what does that mean about me?
The thought of prison always terrifies me. Like, oh my God. But
What?
like,
He's the
when
only
you
one.
were speaking to these prosecutors and FBI agents and all these people, how many hours collectively did you talk with them?
My God, I don't even know.
Were you talking 20, 30, 40, 50 hours easily?
Yeah. It was walking through the gates of hell. It was horrible.
Were they
It was
ever
horrible.
aggressive?
I mean, like The Wire aggressive?
No, like you need to say this. You need
Yeah.
to tell us.
What kind of question is this? He's like setting up some sort of defense of the police are the ones that should be criticized here. I think they did actually shockingly a pretty good job getting this case prosecuted, which is typically hard to do for these gurus. And the fact that he got real prison time and she got real prison time is an amazing feat. So I don't know why he's going down this road of trying to set up the cops as some sort of bad, nefarious people here when they are the heroes of the story.
There were, you know, and it was difficult because I was still figuring out what had happened and was still kind of trying to understand. I mean, you think it's confusing for you on the outside. Imagine being the person who's living it.
Right.
Like, I was like, what happened to me? You know, what is going on? And so, yeah, there were moments during the, it's called proffering. So when you decide to cooperate with the government and give them information about your former co-defendants, they spend time with you. Part of it is that
Girl, that's called snitching. That's called being a rat. Okay, I'm just kidding. You should do that. I think sometimes it helps the victims, but still.
I'm testing to see if you could testify, if you would be a good person to go on
Snitching.
the stand. And a bigger part of it is just getting the information from you that they can use to prosecute.
Did you ever take a lie detector?
No.
No, they didn't ask you to do that.
They didn't ask me to do that. But
Which I've said this before, but don't ever take a lie detector. They're not reliable and they're junk science and it doesn't work. And people who are innocent, they say, oh, it says that you're guilty on here, which is not true. And people who are guilty take them and they say, oh, they're free to go. So there's my tip for the night. Don't do lie detectors, whether you've done the crime or not. Just don't do it. Don't even give in to that bullshit.
I just felt crazy, you know, and there were so many moments when I first came home on house arrest, after I first got arrested, I would just wail in my bedroom, my childhood bedroom, and just say, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
How were your parents reacting?
That's when you know you're really not crazy. When you're crying, screaming, I'm not crazy. That's when you know you're sane.
They really supportive?
Yeah. I mean, my dad has dementia. So my dad was, thank you. So my dad was, you know, doing the best he could.
Yeah.
My mom was incredible. You know, my mom still makes me cry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom and my about, I would say 90% of the people in my life stopped communicating with me, whether it's because they couldn't get to me or they didn't know what to say or it was too scary or the betrayal was too deep, whatever it was, I stopped talking to 90% of the people in my life. And so it was really just like my mom and a couple of my closest friends and my sister. Yeah. And they really kept me together. Like they created a shell around me so that I could liquidate and then reform. And my mom just went to a place where she was like, I just need to love her. I'm not going to try and force therapy on her. I'm not going to try and change her mind. I'm not going to try and, you know, have any type of intervention with her. I just need to love her. And that's what she did. And that's what my community did. And that's what saved my life.
Did you think in the beginning when you're going through all this, I don't know, interrogation or whatever, did you feel,
this guy
and your lawyers feel like, I'm going to get a lot more years than what I ended up getting?
Yeah.
Like, were you ready to go to prison for 15 years?
22. I was looking at 16 to 22.
And you were, I don't know if you could say I was ready, but you were like preparing yourself.
I'm curious to hear, because it is rare for people to actually face time for these types of crimes, because the people are willing participants for the most part. They're adults. In this case, some of them were younger, but most of these people are grown people. So there's a lot, like with the twin flame thing, I would highly doubt they're ever going to face jail time for the things that they've done, or any of these other pseudo cults where they're maybe doing stuff, but you can't quite prove it in the court of law. They might be in a court at some point, but they'll either get off or they'll get, community service or probation or something much lighter. So that is kind of crazy. This one defies kind of the norms. And Asari Shepherd, thank you so much. Asari says she didn't learn ish. Yeah. I don't know how to feel about her. I mean, she's got the right answers, I guess. I did like, I forget who said it, but someone said, like, she said cult, at least. Call it a cult. I appreciate that. She seems to be somewhat open about her feelings, but I'm just not believing that she feels that bad. I think she feels like she was manipulated, and then therefore she should be forgiven, and it wasn't really her fault. That's the vibe I'm getting, but who's to say, I guess. Let's keep watching.
Most pilgrims are not bougie bitches like me.
True.
No, I don't. I had prepared myself for 5 years. I said, I can handle 5 years. And I'm like a planner. I'm like very part of my, like, I have to do really well in everything I do. Didn't go away just because I was on house arrest and looking at prison time. I had like, if I get sentenced to house arrest, then I will do this with my future. If I get sentenced to 1 year, then I will do this with my future. And I had planned that out up to 5 years. And so when the judge said 36,
I wish I could do that without prison time. I wish I could plan my life, in year intervals. That'd be nice.
6 months was my sentence of incarceration, and then 36 months of probation. I was like, I can do that. I have that plan in my head. I have that. I couldn't wrap my brain around 16 to 22 years. That was too much for me to consider. So I just didn't.
What is prison like?
So fun. Get to walk around in nature sometimes, read books, learn languages, take classes, hang out with my girls. I mean, it's actually not that bad. It's actually kind of like NXIVM.
I mean, I think it's important to make distinctions, because a lot of people think of prison and they think of like state prison, which is very different than federal prison. And
She was in country club prison.
A lot of people think of prison and they think of either Orange is the New Black, which is something called camp,
right?
Which is not where I was. I was inside the fence. So they cuffed us anytime we went outside the fence, and there was barbed wire, and we had something called controlled movement, where you can only move every hour in one direction on the compound, and they lock the doors behind you. But I also wasn't in maximum security. So there were no locks on our actual door.
You weren't around murderers.
I was around
you were
murderers.
Around
yeah,
murderers.
oh yeah. And yeah.
Interesting.
But it wasn't federal, because I was in a federal institution, because it was a federal crime. And federal institutions are notoriously like quote unquote nicer. There's something in prison called politicking. And politicking is very like racially motivated, and it involves gangs. And
so she was in the Aryan Sisterhood. That's what she's saying here. Okay.
So there's a lot of like social hierarchy and rules and violence and things like that to keep those rules in place. There isn't really that in the federal system. And so
you didn't have to join forces with certain groups.
No.
Sure.
I was really lucky for a number of reasons. So that all of that to say, my prison experience, I think, is different in certain ways than other people's prison experiences, or than the prison experiences that we see on television. I teach in prisons now, and I work with a lot of men who have sentences of life without parole and things like that. And so that experience and that dynamic is different than the one that I had. I had the very deeply held belief that there were good people and bad people, and that bad people went to prison, and that was how we stayed safe.
Oh, I thought she was saying that. That's her belief now. I'm like, you just said there is no such thing as good and bad people. She's saying in the past. Okay, fine.
So if I was going to prison, that meant that under that assumption, I had to accept I'm a bad person, and I couldn't accept I'm a bad person. I just couldn't accept that as true. And so I was like, okay, then that means that there are going to be good people in there. So that's one fear that started to dispel.
Yeah.
But then the other fear that was very present was, am I going to have to, I'm not violent. I've never hit anybody in my life. I mean, I used to cry when I had to do stunt scenes and hit the stunt guy, like that's not my jam.
She's just emotionally abusive. She wasn't physically abusive. Okay, go ahead.
And so I was like, I don't know how to fight. I don't know if there's going to be sexual things that are going to be advancements made on me that I'm not going to know what to do with. I don't know if I'm going to get taken advantage with or extorted for money. Like, I just didn't know what to expect because I did have these prejudices.
And none of that happened.
100% the opposite.
Wow.
100% the opposite.
Everyone ran away from me as soon as I walked up. No one wanted to hook up with me. It was horrible.
Have friends in there that you consider friends that you still talk to that are still there?
I don't speak to anybody inside because it's against my probation.
Right.
And I'm on probation until next year. So I'm still technically on paper is what they call it.
And what is that probation? What can you not do? Can you travel?
No, I can't leave the county without permission.
He's like,
I have a monitor on my phone.
We're out of county right now.
And on my computer. So they keep track of who I talk to, and
they listen in.
I don't know. But
it doesn't
But
worry.
they have the right to. I'm not going to do anything. I believe I am rehabilitated, and I will always be in the process of being rehabilitated. I think I'll be in therapy for forever, but I very clearly understand what happened and that it was wrong. So I'm not concerned that I'm going to not do that. But I do have friends inside that I would like to get in touch with when I'm off probation.
I'm not sure I believe that. Am I the only one? I don't know if I believe that she wouldn't start her own cult one day. She's giving off the vibe that she's not done with this yet. She may have another cult in her, and maybe this time she's the queen, and that would fix all the problems. She had a king. That was the issue, maybe. If she was in charge, things would have been different, perhaps. I'm getting that vibe.
Because there are really good people who deserve support.
Were you suicidal at all?
I had moments of
Good point, aging student. Says, ironic, she was worried about prison SA when she helped create prisons full of SA. Yeah, she was perpetuating a sex cult, and then now she's worried that she's going to get hit on in prison. It's ironic. I agree.
Suicidal ideation. I had one moment where I was hiding in Mexico when Keith had first gotten arrested. That's a whole other thing.
I remember seeing that. I was like,
yeah. And I was staying in a penthouse apartment by myself for 2 weeks. And I didn't know what was happening. And I went out on the balcony and thought I could jump and this could be over.
You really thought about it.
Mm-hmm. But then I was like, but then I wouldn't know what happens next. And I want to know what happens next. And it'll be different tomorrow. So I need to just hang on through this because it'll be different tomorrow. And then when I came home, it was really hard for a couple of years. It was really hard.
How so?
Coming to terms with what had happened was just like outrageously painful.
What had happened?
Coming to terms with the fact that I might be convicted of a sex crime, which meant that I was a sex offender for the rest of my life, might have to go to prison for 22 years. Like all of these realities were surfacing that were just like so heavy and dark and painful. I had a hard time. I had really betrayed my brother and his family. And so I didn't know how to fix the situation with my brother. That was really painful. Losing 90% of my community was really painful. We had paparazzi outside my parents' house. So I couldn't go anywhere without getting chased for really negative reasons. And that was really painful. I was flying back to New York on a regular basis, dealing with my lawyers and eventually the prosecutors, and all of that was really painful. Like it was so heavy. And I would have moments where I felt like, I don't know that I can carry this anymore. And then I would think, if I kill myself, I'm going to hurt my mom so bad. I can't do that. So I didn't.
Yeah, man, that's heavy.
Let's go to an ad read. Okay, heavy.
Washed.
100%.
100%.
100%.
And what red flags, if you look back now, that you might not have noticed because you were in the thick of things, would you make people be aware of? Not to make sure this and this, if it's a self-help, is there anything you can do?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, people would, the mental landscape is so nuanced and delicate. And we're so flippant with it because we can't touch it and see it. But people should not be messing in your brain unless they have 7 years at least of an education behind them, teaching them how to be careful, how to be respectful, how to allow you your autonomy. Like, there are so many self-help things out there now, which I think, some of them are really good and are really helpful. But if somebody is insisting on getting really deep into your psyche, they should be licensed.
Amen, sister. We agree on that. Hey.
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, me and Allison Mack, we're like this. We got the same beliefs. I've always said it.
There's too much sensitivity to our psychology that we don't take care of in the way that we should.
I agree. I think every life coach, they have no license to lose. So they have less incentive to treat anyone with dignity, respect, honesty, without, they don't even know what they're doing wrong half the time or how they're hurting people with their own psychoanalysis of whatever their worldview is. I totally agree with her on this, I will say.
So I think that's one big thing is like
knowing who you're getting involved with.
Yeah. Just because someone is good with a knife in the kitchen doesn't mean they should be a surgeon.
Just because they're a good talker.
Just because someone is good at listening or good at talking doesn't mean that they should be a therapist. So just be wary of self-help gurus and the power that they say they have that's unregulated. I mean...
Is she me? What's going on here? This is my soul sister. I want to join DOS. Okay. Shut up. Sorry.
There's so much regulation involved in being an LMFT or an LCSW, and that those safeguards are put in place for a reason so that people don't get psychologically messed with. So that's one big thing that I would say. And then the second thing that I would say is no one thing should ever consume your entire life. Ever.
Right. But that's taking you away from the things you love and the things you love doing.
Even a relationship.
Yeah.
If your one relationship is consuming your entire life, it's not a healthy relationship.
Right.
Agreed.
Everything has to be supplemented with something else, right?
Right.
Balance.
And
Agreed.
so I think anytime anybody ventures into something and all of a sudden that is all that they're pointed towards doing financially, psychologically, time-wise, everything is in that one thing. That's
Good point.
That's a red flag,
Yeah.
And then too, like if you're losing relationships over it, it's really important to consider like maybe there's a reason why these people that I love and care about are falling away from me, and maybe it's not because they're dysfunctional.
Yeah. Your podcast.
Yeah, it's not my podcast.
It's not your podcast.
It's a podcast that was produced by a woman who named Natalie. I can't remember her last name, but yeah, it's a podcast that tells my story. So it focuses on me. It's my interview. Does it go deep? Yeah,
like everything.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's 7 episodes, and she's very intelligent and very fair, and very
but unmemorable.
Yeah,
I just think very balanced, very honest.
I mean, look, this is a tough question. You can answer it or you cannot. But like, when I think about hear about the branding and things like that and all that stuff. I mean, is that something that you thought, oh, this is the club. This is part of it. This is initiation. This is it's hard to like wrap my head around. Did you come up with that?
Good job, Lex Luthor. Now we're getting to the heart of it. The meat.
No.
Oh, she didn't come up with it. Well, she said otherwise before.
It's hard to like wrap my head around. Did you come up with that?
No, I took credit for it in the New York Times article. And
we have the same mind, I swear.
that actually, interestingly enough, is a part of the podcast because the woman who interviewed me for the New York Times article is a part of the podcast that I did as well. And so she has actual tape of me talking about it.
Right.
Why would you take credit for it if it wasn't your idea? Why would that ever make sense in a million years? I feel like she did come up with it. There's no way. Why would you ever lie about that and lie to make yourself look worse?
No, it was not my idea. No, it is not my initials. I will take credit for the things that I actually did do, and I did not do those things.
Were you
but
branded?
I was. So I read this really interesting article about Alexei Navalny's second in command. Alexei Navalny was a Russian man who was murdered recently by the Russian government, and he was incredibly.
You're off topic. I can't keep up with this. Don't go off into Alex Navalny, Russian murder. Come on, stick on task, please. We were just getting something interesting. That's probably why we're now waxing poetic about political violence.
Powerful and protesting against Putin and the Russian regime. And his second in command was doing this interview with the New Yorker, and they said, "Aren't you afraid?" And because Alexei Navalny had been, poisoned and was now in this like gulag and all these things. I think that's what it's called, a Russian prison.
Right.
And she said, "No, I'm not afraid. I'm a fanatic. And the only thing that fanatics fear is disillusionment." And I read that in prison and I went, I was a fanatic. I so deeply believed that what I was doing was righteous and good and powerful and like transformational and profound, that I was living on 500 calories a day, Michael.
Yeah.
And I was running 5 to 6 miles every morning.
Because that's what Keith wanted.
Because that's what Keith wanted, and working, doing plays and I was sleeping 3 to 5 hours a night.
So you were sick.
I was so sick. But I didn't feel any of it because the fanaticism was so present.
Wow.
Yeah. It's such a hard thing to try and express because.
Yeah. Do you look back, when you got out of prison, the first thing you were thinking of was like, I need to really apologize to anybody out there that you were involved with and with the branding or with whatever. Did you reach out?
So I'm not allowed to.
You're not allowed to?
Yeah. That's part of my probationary restrictions.
Yeah. But what would you say? Like if you...
Yeah, good question. What would you say if you could? Sorry? Maybe? I don't know. Weird. Okay, so here's the branding in case you haven't seen this. Now, she said, Allison Mack, at one point, when she was trying to appeal to these women to get the brand, she said it was earth, whatever, all the different elements, mountains, water, fire. But in reality, it looks like Keith Raniere, and then also if you tilt it to this way, people said Allison Mack. It's like a two-pronged, hey, let's get these ladies to have both of our names on them. Because KR this way, and then, can you see it? Oh, sorry, my head's blocking it. Get out of the way, big head, I say to myself as I go to sleep. Okay, yeah. So I don't know what I think about this. I could believe both. I think definitely Keith's initials seem clear. Could this M looks a little freaky, so maybe not. But would I put it past her based on this interview? No. I think I could see her wanting her name branded into people too. I get the vibe.
If you could say something to them.
I don't know if this is the forum that I would want to do that on.
Right.
I'm not entitled to make that decision.
So she doesn't want to apologize, even hypothetically. I don't like that either. I wish you would say, I'm so sorry and there's nothing I can do that will ever make up for what I've done to you, and I'm so sorry. And just call it a day. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. It's almost like it wouldn't be personal.
Right.
In a
well,
way.
and it's
a private thing.
It's a
with
private
them.
It's a private thing. It's with them.
He's really trying to give her a rope here to help herself.
And it's their
experience. And, that's between you and them. Has Keith Raniere ever reached out to you since then? He's not allowed to, but did he ever write you a letter? Did he ever reach out?
Curious.
He wrote a letter to all of us that were on trial during right before the trial. But I did not read it.
Do you know what it said?
No.
Probably like, stay strong.
Something like that.
Something like that. You just sort of like not having any part of it.
No.
Do you hate him? Do you forgive him?
No.
Let her answer the first question first. God, that was a good question. Do you hate him? Let her answer.
I am not yet at a place where I have forgiven him because I haven't fully comprehended what he did. I'm still working on that, And so,
seems surprising.
Monica Lewinsky has a podcast called Reclaiming. I don't know if you've listened to it.
I've heard of it.
It's really great. And she was talking about how, she didn't speak about her experience until like 10 years after. And that it took a long time for her to be able to feel angry. And, when I was on house arrest for the 3.5 years, I was just trying to manage figuring out what had happened and avoid 22 years in prison and a sex offense conviction. And then when I was in prison, I was just trying to survive being in prison. And I have only been home for 2 years. And so it's only been 2 years that I've been able to really feel safe enough to start to get really into what happened. But I will say that listening to the podcast, because I had no hand in editing it, I didn't, I just gave the interview and then trusted that that would be what it was. And so hearing Natalie put together my story and hearing myself speak about certain things and hearing other people speak about things, it was the first time that I actually felt sad about what had gone on, as weird as that sounds. And not that I had felt remorse, because I had felt incredible.
She's like, it's only been 10 years since this happened. I have not had enough time to reflect. Why don't you understand that? I only had 3.5 years to sit at my house alone by myself to think, and 2 years in prison, and I've only been home for 2 years. How do you think people just recover overnight? It's like, you probably could have thought a little bit, maybe. That's 24 hours in a day.
Ounce of remorse and guilt and so much shame for the people that I had hurt, but I had never really felt sad about what had happened for me. It's a really complicated thing to be both a victim and a perpetrator. And so I think I'm still.
How about you just worry about your sadness for yourself later? I don't know. I hate when people say that. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I've never forgiven. I never thought much about it. I didn't apologize to anybody, but it's time to forgive me. It's like, I don't think you've done the first steps yet.
Working through that. And I think my feelings around Keith are enmeshed in all of that as well. So he's an evil man, and it's good that he's not around.
But she does not hate him.
Yeah.
But my emotional feelings and intimate feelings about him outside of that, I haven't fully worked through.
Right.
And
you can't just, it's not a light switch.
No.
It does feel like a red flag. Red flag alert. She still loves him.
You're going to get spanked by the universe.
Oh, and there's part of the reason why I was anxious to do this podcast is because I'm in process.
Yeah.
And
that's understandable. I think that's, I that's why it's like I talked to you about addressing the elephant in the room. It's like, if we just did a podcast, people would be listening going, you're not going to even acknowledge that? It's just like it never happened.
Yeah.
So it's like, I like that you're talking about it, and, we don't have to go deep as I'm sure you did on the podcast. But, it was important to I think it was important for people to actually, it just interests me how your mind works and how you're dealing with it, how the story, because how you go from one thing like Smallville.
Hold on. I saw someone's comment about her husband. And I was like, well, he's probably some sort of financier, business guy or something, right? Like, what's his deal? Apparently, her husband's name is Frank Mink. And it says, Frank Mink is a former white supremacist skinhead gang member in the U.S. Oh my God. She knows how to pick her dudes. After a 3-year stint in prison, he left the racist skinhead movement and now lectures against it. Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad. It's not crushing the allegations of you didn't join the white supremacists in prison. Yikes. I guess I'm assuming he's against it, so therefore, it's okay, but interesting choice. Let's see. Let's go back to her wiki. Conviction, sentencing, personal life. Okay. She had a long-term relationship with Canadian actor Chad Krawchuk during the 2000s when she was residing in Vancouver. Okay. He doesn't even have a wiki page, so he must not have made it. And then in 2017, she married a Canadian actress. Wait. She married an actress? A woman? She's bisexual? I didn't know that. Nikki Klein, who was a fellow NXIVM member. The marriage was alleged to have been a sham to get Klein around U.S. immigration laws. Okay, interesting. India Oxenberg, who was a witness, later confirmed that the marriage was fake and orchestrated by Keith Raniere to keep Klein in the U.S. Okay, so then in 2020, she filed for divorce from Klein. Mack and Klein were both sexual partners with Keith Raniere. Gross. In 2025, Mack married Frank Mink. Sorry, so this year they got married. Okay, well, there you go. And Natalie Robimed interviewed her on CBC radio podcast Uncover. Interesting. Okay, so that's her husband. Smallville to Cultville to ex-Supremacyville. It's a wild ride over there. All right, I get the gist of this. I feel like she's got work to do still, and I'm not convinced she's not down to give it another shot to be a guru herself, personally. Thank you.
Unfollow me.
That's what she's saying to her former cohorts. Okay, where the heck is the spinning the wheel? Where's my wheel spin, everybody? Where's my wheel spin? Stand by. Let me spin the wheel. Oh, I found it. Okay. Thank you, Allison Mack. We appreciate you. Kind of. Okay. Let's remove her and spin. Yay! Ned Fulmer. Ned Fulmer. Okay. I'm not going to go super in depth, but he is back in the headlines once again. He's putting all of his chest into his reinvention of his career. He's got his podcast, the Rock Bottom with Ned Fulmer podcast, where he interviews people who have had rock bottoms in their life. Then he's got his new channel where he's doing Try Guys but with one guy content. But the reason why we're talking about him again is because he made some may say, including myself, an exploitative video that many people, including myself, are questioning the validity of. Now, this video is the second one right here. It's called I Have MS. It's a thumbnail where he's crying on the side of a road. And this is a diagnosis that he's been hiding for over 10 years. Now, I say hiding because that's his words, that he was ashamed of having MS. I find that to be surprising. That's not typically a diagnosis I find a lot of people are embarrassed to have. I mean, I guess you could be, but it seems like why would you be embarrassed by that? He also did a video with BuzzFeed about an MS run, like it was like a savage race type thing, and they raised money for MS. He interviewed people who had MS that said they had MS. He never mentioned it then, and that video came out in 2016. He never apparently told at least Eugene that he had MS or was diagnosed, like one of his closest compadres, friends, you know, in this group. So I'm suspicious for many reasons, and now that he's coming out with it now seems odd. And then also the way that he documents it in this video at the end, which is where this screenshot comes from, is cringe AF. So let's watch a little bit of it. We'll fast forward to the end, and then he also did a live stream where he did Ask Me Anything, and he addressed some things that, you know, people have been wondering about. I don't think it's that interesting. There was one part about his vocal fry that he answered that I thought was kind of funny, but it's just, I think this guy's got a personality disorder. I think it is what it is, because this most recent video about cheese, it says chefs roast my $1,000 cheese wheel pasta, only has 3.5 thousand views. That's the type of views I get. Okay. And I don't have 300,000 subscribers and national attention. So that's when you know you've hit rock bottom, as they say. So, okay. So I Have MS is the name of the video, but he's going on a challenge to walk he's trying to walk 50 miles to raise money for MS. So every 10 miles he walks, he's supposed to donate $1,000. So he's walking from Santa Monica to Disneyland, which I guess is 50 miles, I'm assuming. And this is where he reveals now that he has MS. Now, I'll just play it. I'll let you decide what you think.
One of the reasons I wanted to do this video was to raise awareness for the National MS Society. It's an organization that is near and dear to my heart, and every year they do a walk called Walk MS to raise money. This is a cause that's really important to me because I actually have MS. I've been living with it since 2013. It's relapsing remitting MS.
Relapsing remitting MS. Okay, he's had it since 2013. Okay.
And it's been something that I have been afraid to talk about and wanted to keep a secret.
I don't know why. Why? Someone explain it to me. I can understand like an autism or something where there's social implications, but what would you be afraid to tell people you have MS for? Maybe he explains. I haven't seen this video.
But I'm trying to be more open about myself, and hopefully my story can help other people. I'm here with Bruce Bebo.
Good to be with you, Ned. My title is Executive Vice President for Research at the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, and I lead the research function.
What?
Okay, well, we can skip ahead. So basically, people are saying that why didn't you come out with this when you had an actual platform?
Right now,
why didn't you?
Is a symptom of MS vocal fry.
It's a symptom of MS vocal fry. Yes, 100%. That is the number one symptom, actually. No, I'm just kidding. He says, well, we'll get to it. I'll play that part. He has an excuse for it. He has a reason, which I'm like, okay, I guess. But for you, I'll say this.
Your girl is a bougie bitch.
Why would he sit on this information for this many years, not raise any money, not raise awareness when he was, you know, in the public spotlight, really wanting to come off as a good guy? It just seems so out of his character. You know, he would tell everyone that would listen that he had a wife and he was a good husband and a good father, which was not true. And now after he's canceled and he's trying to build his career back, all of a sudden he's like, well, the sympathy angle might work here. Maybe people, if they thought that I had something, you know, wrong with me physically, then maybe they would lay off or they wouldn't be able to criticize me anymore. I don't know. I'm suspicious. That's all I'll say. I'm suspicious. Okay. But this is the part of the video where people are like, what the hell? This is crazy. Okay, here you go.
Not gonna be good for my mental toughness. That might make it a little bit difficult, yeah.
It's 8 o'clock or 8:30 or something.
And it says that if I keep walking about 12 hours, I should get there right as the sun is rising, right as it's opening. I'm kind of hitting some hills, which are really hard to deal with. Okay, these hills are really wearing me out. I don't know. 22 miles. One step at a time, every step, one step further. My feet are starting to have sharp pains. Ow, it's like both hip flexors.
Okay. All right, so he's documenting. Okay, now let's skip ahead.
MRI. This time they did not.
Hold on. Beep, beep, beep.
Get up and I could use my arms and I.
Okay, sorry, we're going back. I skipped it. So now we got the sad guitar music playing, which is a choice.
Isn't that like really bad? I was totally in denial. Didn't want to have MS. So I went back home because they said, well, at this point, let's see if these symptoms.
I'm so sorry. I need to continue. I'm sorry for skipping.
Strange, sort of dull sensations. And then.
God. Now he's explaining how he got diagnosed or what started.
Then you'll be good.
Okay. So I said I would tell more of my story later. It's maybe a good time for it. I was diagnosed with MS in 2013. I noticed one day that my hands felt a little tingly. They were kind of cold, even though it wasn't cold, and then strange, sort of dull sensations. And then it spread to like my arms and my forearms, and then it lasted all afternoon. I'm like, oh, that's really weird. And then it was there again the next day. I'm like, oh, this is very unusual. When it spread.
The music is doing a lot of heavy lifting here to make this a good story. It's not even a good story, but I don't know. This man does not have the gift of gab, the gift of just being a interesting person that speaks. He's got a very odd cadence that makes it very hard to focus and care about what he's saying.
To feeling like in my chest and back. Then I went to the hospital and I did an MRI and they found some lesions in my brain. And the doctor was like, you probably have MS. And I was like, what?
You probably have MS? Seems a little sketch as well. They did an MRI and found brain lesions in his brain, obviously. And you probably have MS. Okay.
You probably have MS. And I was like, what is that? Isn't that like really bad? I was totally in denial. Didn't want to have MS. So I went back home because they said, well, at this point, let's see if these symptoms resolve on their own. But they didn't. They actually got worse. I remember very vividly waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and collapsing on the floor. I tried to get up and I could use my arms and I could move my legs, but I couldn't pull myself up using my full strength of my legs. So we rushed to the hospital in the middle of the night and they did more tests. They did a spinal tap where they take out fluid from your spine to see if you have these markers for MS. They did another MRI. This time they did not just the brain, but the brain and the spine, and a contrast injection to show if it was what parts were actively inflamed, and a lot of it was actively inflamed at that point in time. I remember sitting in that hospital bed and it getting worse, and just me acting so scared, wondering if I just wasn't gonna be able to walk again, or like what was gonna happen to me.
I'm not seeing a tear. I'm sorry. I know I'm so mean. I'm not seeing a tear. Maybe a little light glisten in this eye, but I feel like he's pushing it out. He's trying so hard to push that tear out that eye. there was no tears for anything that's happened to anyone in his life. He's like, well, I fucked up, and it's not society's fault for, not supporting women more, I guess. No tears. But for him, thinking about his MS diagnosis brings him to this facial expression. It's a choice. It is a choice.
And
push it out.
I'm just confused. The doctors were really great at that hospital. So they put steroids, like powerful IV steroids that reduced the inflammation in my brain. And then put me through this strange device that like sucked all the blood out of my body. Like you have your red blood cells, which are your cells, you can't really replace them that easily. But then the plasma, the other stuff that's in your blood, there's like synthetic plasma. And the old stuff has a lot of antibodies, which are presumably attacking your own brain. And so they strip out the plasma, put the new stuff in, and with those two treatments, I started to get better. I started to regain strength, and at one point, amazingly, I realized I could move my...
Great point. Like, there's no, my wife did a great job. She really helped me. Or, Alice, or what's her name? Not Allison. Ariel. Ariel was, so helpful. And she, there's none of that. My kids came to visit me. It's just all about me.
Legs again. It kind of felt like a miracle. And fortunately, the inflammation on the lesion on my spine was able to go away. So now the things that persist are I have low-level sensory issues, like kind of how it was on that first day. My hands and my forearms are just always a little bit dull. And I've just kind of learned to ignore it. I don't know. I just... It can get a little higher with it being really hot or cold or alcohol or sort of stress.
Okay, now that I'm seeing this and I've seen the live stream, I'm more confused because someone asked him a question in the live stream, said, does weather affect MS? And he said, I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe. And then dismissed the question and moved on. But he's saying here, when it was cold or hot, that affected me. So I'm very suspicious of this guy's story. Now, does he have this disease? Perhaps. Who's to say, But is he the type of guy who could make up something like this by reading Google and reading other people's stories and he's met people with MS. There's a BuzzFeed video where he's interviewing people about it and learned from what they said to make his own story? I don't know. I kind of want to hear Ariel's take. Does he have it or not? Because I don't know. He seems diabolical in this way. And I'm sorry to say it. I know it's bad, but that's how I feel.
But for the most part, it's only there if I really think about it. Since then, my MRIs have been clean. The treatment has been working. And even though it's a daily thing that I have to do, everything is stable. So, and I was keeping it like a really big secret for a long time, and I don't think that was very healthy for me, so.
That doesn't make sense. I mean, if he was really so ashamed of having a disease, it's because he's a narcissistic person that feels like that they should be totally infallible, even physically. And that's also like a mental thing that is bizarre. Because otherwise, I just don't get it. But I guess I'm being judgmental. I'm sorry.
Trying to be more open with it, just in conversation. And I am very grateful to be in remission. And I am very happy to be making this video, and I hope that people like it.
Could you walk?
Okay. Now let's go to the real part. The crying part 2. Okay.
Friends, I have hit 24 miles. Just the pain in my hips and my hip flexors is getting pretty bad. Yeah.
The music is so intense. It's like a trailer for a horror film.
I'm like feeling like I'm not able to walk straight anymore. I'm wobbling back and forth. The mental isolation.
24.8.
And every step.
This is an editing choice, okay? That they're using this like overlapping, disorientating editing style where there's audio and then he's cutting. He's the mental, what did he say? The mental isolation. He's been walking for 1 day. He walked 20 miles, which is not nothing, but it's not like you've been in the desert for 4 weeks. This is crazy. Okay, I'm going back. Sorry. I just need to see the edit. They're like, okay, can we make it like wavy effect? Can we put a strobe effect in here?
Yeah, I'm like feeling like I'm not able to walk straight anymore. I'm wobbling back and forth. The mental isolation.
24.8.
And every step, my brain's just telling me to stop walking.
A new car!
I'm just like limping forward one step at another. My time to get to Disneyland keeps going higher and higher.
Oh my God. There's no way I can keep going.
Oh, I can keep going.
Drama.
Okay, I hit 25 miles. Wow, I've been walking for 13 hours and 55,000 steps. Ow. Oh. I can do this. I'm starting to feel that my hips are completely on fire and I like 25.4. 0.8 miles. My favorite flight to America. Oh my gosh. I made it to 26.27.
The music change is so crazy. Okay, we're going from horror long track right into pop bubbly logo intro. Because he hit his mark. He did have a psychotic breakdown on the way, and he was screaming and having a meltdown and a crash out that we've never. It's not over, by the way. This is continuing. He's the music is switching, but he's not done yet.
I have completed a marathon. That's amazing.
I think you still need to go 0.1, but okay, sure.
I feel like I'm gonna vomit. Oh my gosh, hitting a milestone like 26.2 miles makes it really tempting to stop. Avenue, oh that's where I live, just all the way up that way.
What is going on? There's not a tear. Check the camera. Oh, Ned. Ned is my favorite. Oh, God. Ned has just come out of nowhere and become the favorite person I could talk about. He had to put the camera on a tripod and set it up and then go back into the position where he's in like a fetus position. And he like went in and, made sure the tears were still there. And now he's going to talk about, I don't know what he's going to talk about. There's a lot of stuff going on in this edit.
Well, I stopped walking.
This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen, perhaps.
Wow. We're done with the challenge. Oh my God.
That foot has never seen hard labor. That foot would not know a blue-collar life. Doesn't know a steel-toed boot. He lives a life of luxury, this man.
God.
Oh, no!
Oh my God,
Oh, God. One red spot.
Gigantic blood blister here. I didn't make it to Disneyland. really proud of myself for making it 26.2 miles, a marathon distance. I walked a marathon in a day. I'm just feeling a lot of feelings right now. So happy to be done walking. And it was so hard at the end. I just want to say, for anyone that thinks they can't keep going, you can.
I will say, okay, this is going to be a hot take. I apologize. He is kind of making it seem like he can't walk because he has MS, right? Or that walking this 26 miles is more painful for him because he has MS. Am I getting that right? Because he did a full-on Spartan race run activity with MS 3 years into the diagnosis. So what's changed so drastically in his physical fitness that doesn't allow him to walk this amount? It's very confusing. Because I'll show you. And of course, his wife is at this walk and he brings her up. BuzzFeed. Hold on. It's not exciting. It's not a great video. But to see the difference in physical ability is quite shocking. This is the Try Guys Try the MS Mud Run. Again, this is from 2016. He claims that he was diagnosed 3 years before this. And it's just like, why would his wife... I don't know. Okay, whatever.
Jump 1, 2, 3.
We're here at the Muckfest MS Mud Run. It's an event to raise money for the National MS Society and help people fight MS and end the disease forever.
I'm ready to win. I'm going to win this thing.
Well, you know, it's a charity mud.
And the thing is, too, there's only 2 of the Try Guys out of the 4 that decide to do this. If he was so embarrassed about having MS and so ashamed of it and so hiding it as this big secret, why would he be the one that would go? Couldn't he say, like, I just don't want to go? And wouldn't it be odd? I don't know. It's very confusing to have this disease, meet people who have it, participate in the run, and mention nothing about your hospitalization and diagnosis. Hi, Kitty.
Run, you don't need to win.
Okay, I'm gonna beat Ned at this.
That's fine. That's fine. We got a whole crew. My wife is here. There's so many people that have come out to support, whether it be runners or volunteers or staff members. Hello! What does this event mean to you?
I have MS, so this is very meaningful to me.
One of my best friends has MS, and I do it for the cause.
We are here with
Teresa Caceres.
We actually were running next to them for like half of the mud run, right?
Yes, I was diagnosed with MS in 2007. I get numbness and tingling, I get vertigo, and I had symptoms for about 7 years and had no idea what it was. Doctor said I was fine, nothing's wrong with me, and I was adamant, and I kept just going back to the doctor until finally they gave me an MRI, and that's what diagnosed me.
Because this really could afflict anybody.
It could. I was, I lost all mobility in my right arm. I couldn't pick up a pen. It happened right after I had my son. And yeah, it was pretty, it was horrible. But, yeah.
But I just saw you swinging across ropes and running through like muddy obstacles. You're definitely kicking MS's butt for sure.
I sure am kicking MS butt, and so was my daughter, and so was the 25 members who came.
And I just love that all of my friends had come together.
Well, everyone is super enthusiastic. I absolutely love the energy. Everyone's just ready to get all dirty.
It means the world. Like, you're doing something fun just to...
Okay, so you get the gist. But he was able to do this in 2016. I don't know. I'm very suspicious. He doesn't seem like a guy that lets an opportunity pass him by. An opportunity to be... Actually, that's the most accurate thing I could say. He doesn't let an opportunity pass him by. That's Ned. Especially when it involves something selfish he wants to do. I find it highly unlikely that he truly was ashamed to the point where he would not capitalize on that. But he's fine capitalizing on it now to the point where he's recording himself laying on the grass crying, fake crying. Something's off about this. I don't believe it, to be honest. I'm sorry.
This video meant a lot to me. I don't know what else to say. My final stats today. 57,000 steps, 26.37 miles, and 14 hours and 20 minutes.
I don't know. I guess that's an accomplishment for him. I'm glad for it, I suppose. Good job. Okay, but let's go to his live stream real quick, where he was raising money for MS. Okay, AMA, Ask Me Anything.
Welcome to the live stream. Happy Giving Tuesday. This is my first live stream. What do you think? Hello, welcome. What's up, everybody? A little uncomfortable, but just diving right in, doing it anyway.
He's got a mustache, by the way.
Anyways, hopefully you can hear me and see me okay. This is my kitchen.
So currently right now, he's got this fundraiser was 2,922, and I think based on his video claims, every 10 miles he would donate $1,000. So he donated the $2,000, I believe. So there you go, $2,000, and the goal looks like $100,000. So he's got a long way to go.
That's where I've been recording all of the things. Yeah, so this recently I made a video about how I have MS. It's something that I've been dealing with for a long time now, and something that I was really afraid to talk about back when I was at BuzzFeed and also Try Guys. It was and continues to be something that's really, really tough to deal with, and there's a lot of fear. Hello. Yes. Wow. I know. Brave. Yeah. No, here I am. So let's get these questions going. It's funny. One of the things I did at BuzzFeed was an MS mud run video, and there's a part where someone is asking me, I think it's Eugene actually, asked me like, oh, so why are you, who are you running for today? And I was so scared to talk about it. I'm like, a close personal friend. Yeah, it's a really overwhelming diagnosis.
So I think that him saying that was a way to then say, when people, obviously his wife would have to know, so she can kind of be the one. I wish someone would ask her, or she would come out and tell what her side is, like whether it's true or not. But that's plausible deniability that he didn't even tell the Try Guys. He didn't even tell Eugene. He was so uncomfortable with this diagnosis that he wouldn't even tell his close friends. I find that, again, highly suspicious. So now, if they asked the Try Guys, did you know about his secret diagnosis, you would assume they would say yes, but they didn't, and that's why he had to add in that it was a big secret.
Because it can come on so suddenly. You can just go from completely able-bodied to the next month, like in a hospital bed where you can't move your legs. And so it was something that I was just so afraid to talk about for so many years.
Why?
Thank you.
I don't get it.
Kitchen aesthetic, yes, that's very funny. Yeah, well, well, you can save your confidence compliments until I'm done. Where was I? Yes, so as really afraid to talk about it. Didn't want to be like seen differently. And when everything went down and I, fucked up my whole life, at part of coming out of that and going to doing the treatment that I was doing, and talking with the counselors, I really realized that there was a lot I was keeping bottled up and compartmentalized. And just having a more authentic relationship with myself and being more comfortable with myself was something that I resolved to do. So when I was planning out some of the content that I've been releasing this fall, I shot most of it this summer and in the spring. This was definitely something that I wanted to tell and a story that I wanted to put out there, and planned it for Thanksgiving. So here we are. Let's see if there's any questions. Somebody update me, please. What's he talking about? I was kind of talking about the MS diagnosis and how I came to make that video. Hopefully you guys checked it out. You liked it. Streaming to end
I did like it. I did like it because it was crazy.
MS, raising money. I should bring up, I wonder how much I think we were at 2,000 something. So let's try and let's try and make it an even 3. Oh, Jesus, now I'm echoing myself. I'm such a novice. I'm living in a 2018 YouTube playbook in a 2025 world. Ugh.
It's the most true thing you said so far.
How to live stream. Okay. All right. 2,697. All right. Let's pump that up to 3. When did I discover I had MS? It was probably, I think it was February of 2013. And
it's like a long time. If it was such an impactful moment in your life, I feel like you'd remember. But okay.
Someone said you could have brought it up while you had more of a platform. And yeah, I should have. I would have caused a much bigger impact than, kind of now, but it is what it is. And I think those experiences of having confronting your own secrets and your own compartmentalization changed how I think about stuff and how I view myself. Has my MS gotten worse? It has been relatively stable. I've had one relapse of a prickly feeling on my left hand that lasted for about 2 weeks. That was more than the baseline feelings of kind of just numbness. So, I would say it's generally stable.
I thought he was in remission. I guess I don't understand the different terms.
And that I just have to be really cognizant of taking the medicine, because that's that prickly feeling. It happened after we got back from Greece, and there was a time when I didn't take the medicine for a couple of weeks. So that is what me and my doctor thought it was. Does the weather affect MS symptoms? It's cold in New York right now. Yeah, when it's really hot or really cold, it can get a bit more you just feel the numbness a bit more. I know other people complain of it really happening with heat and exertion.
Again, that answer for whatever reason surprised me, because he's saying kind of, but other people feel he's not talking about it from real experience. In the vlog, he was talking about it from his lived experience, and now it seems like he's well, other people have this. It's a weird way to talk about it.
Unfortunately, I'm able to ignore it for the most part. Let's see. Will it affect your offspring? It is something that I think is slightly more something that will transmit to kids more, but it's not a for sure thing. What kept you from bringing it up earlier? Why were you so afraid to earlier? It happened so close to me starting at BuzzFeed, and when you start, it was something I was still coming to terms with, because that initial episode happened in February, and then I was formally diagnosed in December, and then I started BuzzFeed late December of 2013. And I think you just I was afraid to talk about it. I was afraid of it being something that I would be perceived differently. And I was still coming to terms with it. And then you kind of get used to keeping it private, and it becomes...
Isn't that so bizarre, though? He must have bigger issues. If you are at BuzzFeed, at an MS run, you are the host of the video, and you're talking to people about raising money for the cause. that doesn't make you, from 3 years, you've worked at BuzzFeed for 3 years now. What was the excuse then by not coming out and saying, and by the way, everybody, I actually relate to this very much because I have MS. I just does not make any sense to me.
It's like that much more scary to talk about it. So having a big interruption where you're not posting for 3 years and then really reassessing what you want to do and how you want to move forward was something that definitely like affected how I changed, because I'm just like, well, look, I am who I am.
The other thing is too, he could have just, if he wanted to come out with it now, he could have just mentioned it in the podcast and in conversation go, oh yeah, by the way, I have MS. I don't know if I've ever said that before, but I have it, and you know, it affects me in different ways. But no, he made a video with the thumbnail like this. Like, this is the worst, most offensive, most capitalistic way you could have done this video. You're so embarrassed about it for 20 years or 10 years or 15 years, however long he's had it, where you wouldn't even admit it at the walk that you had it or at the run. But now you're willing to put yourself in a thumbnail in like this very egregious way. I just find it to be such a polarizing change that I'm not buying it at all.
I've did what I did. I'm just moving forward the best I can. And maybe it's not so healthy for me to just try to have a tightly, curated image or be so like conscious about my own brand, and just try to have like self-esteem of just, I am who I am, and I'm putting out stuff that I like, and hopefully other people like it too. All right. What else? No, this is not the house featured in the AD YouTube vid, although we do still have that house.
So he's saying right now, I thought this was an interesting part, or revealing part. So they did an interview with Architecture Digest, and they do the house tour. And so someone said, is this the same house that you did that tour in? And he said, no, that they still have that house. This is a different house. But hear what he says next. Okay, so no, this is a different house, but ...
Yeah, looking rough. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Wow. Yes, I do have a mustache and a bit of a scruff going right now. What made you want to talk about it? Yeah, I mean, it was both taking some time.
Okay, well, I don't know if I missed it, but he basically says, we bought this house because I bought this kitchen specifically so I could film videos in here because I thought it looked good on camera. Which I thought was like, that's why you purchased this house, for this background? Okay.
I'm off. Realizing that there was a lot of parts of my life that I had kept kind of compartmentalized, and just that wasn't super healthy for me, that I wanted to be more open about it. So it's come up in conversation with friends. Obviously, I've made content about it now, but it's been nice. I mean, I think previously I would have a conversation with a friend and they would say something that would make me think of MS, and then I like wouldn't talk about it because I'm like, oh. And now I just say like, oh yeah, that makes me think of like I actually have MS. So that's kind of, and then you're often like, oh well, cool. Oh geez, what's that like? And then we talk about it. So it's helpful.
Yeah, it sounds like a real situation that's really happened.
Have I considered doing something with my chemistry degree? Yeah.
His answer is no.
No, that's a bit of a stretch. I haven't done that in several years, but you never know. You never know where life can lead you. But I like making content that like mixes education with comedy and entertainment. I tried to like get a little bit of some of the science of G-forces in the jet fighter video, and planning some other stuff like that where there's like a scientific element. Would I run a milk mile? What's that? Well, yeah, sure. I really know the answer. I think when you do something that drastically alters the course of your life, however it happens, it takes time to like rebuild that sense of self. I know I wasn't happy, and so becoming much more in tune with my authentic self has been a positive. But you know, I think I'm still kind of figuring that out. Right now I'm making new content and I enjoy doing that.
Oh, yeah, someone asked him, why are you making Try Guys like style stuff still? Why don't you do something else? And he's explaining why.
I like the type of stuff that I'm making and the people that I'm working with. But whether I'll still be doing that in 5 years, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely still finding a new audience, and I know it'll take time, and it's not like something that's, you know, it's tough. There's a lot of the audience that I had before that really hates me, and I get it.
But it's not even that they hate him, because they do, but his stuff is not good. Look at James Charles. People hate James Charles, but his content appeals to a certain audience no matter what, apparently. Or the other one, what's his face? The guy that does the makeup. Jeffree Star. Same thing. Like, he has been canceled so many times, yet people who like him and will stick by him and watch his stuff. Ned is not interesting enough or good enough at the content part or finding the audience. That's the issue. That's the difference. It's not like people can't really be canceled if they refuse, which he does, but you have to have something to offer your fans.
Probably really upset them. And a lot of other people. But I can't change it, so I'm just moving forward and trying to make stuff that people like. And most of all, I like the stuff that I'm making, and I think it's stuff that I'm proud of, and that's really all you can do at the end of the day. Have I ever been to Europe?
Okay. All right, let's just skip. There's nothing really exciting now, but I wanted to go to, I think it's 46. He talks about the vocal fry. The rest is semi-interesting, but not that exciting. Okay.
Yeah, new choices and new formats. So I think that the kind of challenge-based content is I don't know, you write what you know, I guess. But why I chose to make it a variety show was mostly because I didn't know what people would connect with. At first I was like, oh, maybe I should just make a science channel or just make a cooking channel or do more like technology stuff. But then I was like, you know what? I don't know what people are going to enjoy or not, or if people enjoy any of it. So maybe I should just try a bunch of different stuff, see what seems to work, and then just zero in on that. So.
The only thing that worked so far has been interviewing his wife and talking about the issue.
That's my plan. So why the vocal fry? I'm not sure what vocal fry. Vocal fry is when someone's voice is like this, right?
Kind of, yeah.
First of all, it's okay. Low frequency, creaky sound produced in the vocal register when the vocal cords are loosely. What is it talking about?
Someone asked, why do you have vocal fry? Or why did you in the first video he came out with, where he's like, hey guys, it's me, Ned. I fucked up.
So vocal fry is like when you're talking like this. No, it's probably because I'm deeply ashamed and guilty and have trouble talking about my choices and actions. It's maybe that's not what people want, but that's where I'm at right now, and I'll work on it, I guess. Do more vocal warm-ups.
There you go. I just thought that answer was kind of funny and interesting. Okay, I might have to, we could do one more, but I might have to wrap and then come back tomorrow and finish up this wheel because I do have a hard out at like 8:30, which is in 20 minutes. Oh my gosh, you guys. Thanks, Ned. Every week I'm like, that's probably the last time we're going to check in on him, and then he does something crazy. So that vlog just made my day. Okay. Let's spin the wheel, and then we'll get back together tomorrow. Yes! Okay. Okay, but we're gonna spin it again because we're gonna pick Chronically Rara. Because and I just thought of this because I saw some people in the chat were here for Chronically Rara updates, and that's what we will deliver today because she was in the thumbnail. Okay, so forget what I just said. We will do Kate Gosselin and Bryan Johnson mañana. Okay, I speak Spanish pretty good. Pinchos. 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 She doesn't like to say pinchos. Okay. So welcome to the Chronically Rara show. That's where this channel started. Can you believe it? 2021, Chronically Rara, the reason we are all here today. I saw her video, and I don't know, I think I must still have it on my channel somewhere. Bye, girly. You want to get off? I help you. Oh, okay. Mrs. Fussy. Okay. So Chronically Rara came up on my TikTok back in 2021, and she made this video where she was like, hey guys, I'm dying. This is like my last video to the world, and it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. You know, hug your kids. And I came across and I was like, oh my God, that's horrible. I feel so bad for this lady. And then for some reason, I went through her old videos, probably to see like her demise, I guess, like how long has this been going on, you know, because it was such a jarring video that she posted from bed and was just, you know, people, she had like 100,000 comments, like it was taking off. And then I started to go through her videos, and there was a pattern of behavior that was odd to me. She seemed to come off as like a liar. And so this is my first YouTube video ever, 4 years ago. God, can you believe it? I was like making disclaimers. I was like, you know, my first YouTube video, I'm going to start off strong. So let's play. Wait, is this even it? God, this is my old house. Oh, look at little Taro. She was there the whole time. She's been here the whole time from the beginning. Ugh, what a sweetheart. Okay, here's the video. All right. Stand by. Followers that she's dying.
Hello everybody, this is Lindsay with Chronically Rara. I just got up about an hour ago, and I've been sleeping for about 20 hours, I think.
Ugh.
I'm very, very tired and very weak now. I'm transitioning, and we think it's almost time. We'll make sure somebody tries to get on here every once in a while and give updates. As for my...
I'm gonna get demonetized, I know it.
I don't think I'm gonna be on as much anymore. Unfortunately, I'm just too tired and too weak now. But I want to thank every one of you who has been such a wonderful support. I'm so incredibly thankful for each and every one of you. Please continue to give my husband and daughter love during this time. Again, we truly are so thankful to each and every one of you who have been on this journey with us. Be well.
Be well. Okay. I'm allowed to laugh because she's still kicking, if you can believe it. 4 or 5 years later, she is still around. She's rah-rahing around town, back and making crazier videos than ever. Okay, but this, as you can see, the views or likes, 400,000 plus likes, 15,000 plus comments. The hashtags: end of life, terminal illness, hospice care, rare disease, my final days, transitioning, time to say goodbye. Okay. She lays it on thick. Chronically Rara does not leave any imagination to be had. You have to know what's going on. But guess what? She was wrong. They thought it was almost time, and she was wrong. She somehow made a miraculous recovery, and she is still around today. And if you've been wondering what's going on with her, here's the perfect TikTok.
My name is Lindsay for...
Okay. And you can go back in time and watch the whole saga unfold from 4 years ago. I highly recommend. That's probably one of my favorite series. From the beginning. That's going way back to the YouTube vault. Anyways, this is the most intense video I think I've ever seen on TikTok, which is saying a lot. Okay, so Lindsay, aka Chronically Rara, is running for Congress in Ohio. Okay, that's what she's up to now. She was on death's door. Now she's back up and trying to get in the door of Congress. Okay, here's the video that she made as her campaign video, I guess.
My name is Lindsay Ferrer, and I am running a grassroots progressive campaign to get into U.S. Congress.
Still talking shit behind my back? Good. Means I'm ahead, bitch. You waste your miserable life watching mine, hoping I fall? Spoiler alert, I'm just getting fucking started. While you rot in your dumb ass hate, I'm stacking wins, breaking limits, and leaving your sorry ass choking on my dust. You ain't a threat, you're a fucking background noise. Keep watching, hater. Every damn move I make is another nail in your jealous ass coffin. Screenshot this glow up motherfucker, cause you'll never live it. Keep fucking shit up and spread chaos like a boss.
A little aggressive, some might say. A little on the nose. I watched that. I was like, okay. So that's why you should vote for her. And if you don't, you're a motherfucker. Here's also what we're gonna get back to the Congress conversation, but here's another video in case you're wondering what she's up to. Okay, this is from September.
I am looking for butterfly experts, particularly those in monarch butterflies. And no, I'm not talking about the armchair Google experts. I'm talking actual butterfly experts who know anything about monarch butterflies. So this little guy right here, I named him Menard the Monarch. If you could see, hopefully it's in a weird position. If you notice, his wings are broken. They're torn up. I don't know. My guess is something got to him and he's unable to fly at all. I found him when I was talking to a neighbor. He was in the grass. And so I took him in and got a little thing of sugar water. That way he's staying hydrated. I have a box.
I'm pretty sure he's dead. And also, I hate to put her on blast, my little tarot princess queen angel, but she would catch monarch butterflies in the yard sometimes, and they would come in the house looking like this, and there ain't nothing you can do, unfortunately. So that's what she's looking. She's looking for monarch butterfly experts. Okay, in case you're wondering. And then this one is another one about her running for Congress. Okay. So it seems like she is involved in some of these protests and things. Like she brings a megaphone, shocking, to these protests, and she spoke at like a city hall. And she's a veteran, I believe, of some sort. So she's been doing some city hall talks about like VA benefits and whatever. And she actually kind of does have some stage presence and is seemingly getting the crowd hyped, and she can do that once in a while. It's just the long-termness of it is where she struggles. She can make a viral TikTok once every 100. She can get people riled up in a crowd at a protest once in a while, but it's like, how do you make that part of your larger plan of what you want to do with your life? That's where Chronically Rara comes up a little row. So anyways, here we go.
Everybody, this is Lindsay, progressive Democratic candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives in Ohio's 1st District. And I did a podcast and it's out today. I'm going to go ahead and put the link up. That way you can take a listen to it wherever you listen to your podcast. Was with my friend Off Your Wagon, and I'm going to tag him too, and his podcast with his co-host Taylor called Let Them Eat Toast. And we talked about my campaign. We talked about me for a little bit. Do not, I repeat, do not turn the amount of times I say into a drinking game. If you do, I am not responsible for the consequences of the just absolute abject terror that is going to happen to your liver. I understand that I said a lot. I was trying to chase it away, but aphasia was a lot faster. And so I was having issues finding my words and finding the nouns. It was either say or fuck. So you know, and I'm supposed to apparently be working on not cussing. Apparently it's not politician-like, and I'm like supposed to be politician-like. Go and check the podcast out. I would love for you to listen to it. Don't turn the ums into a drinking game. Go support my friend Afterwagon. Go support his podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Let Them Eat Toast. It's a really great podcast. I love it. I listen to it every week, or if I miss, I binge it.
Okay. So one of the comments on this video says, "Is your health better? No snark. I hope it is." Okay. Her answer, guess what? Unfortunately, no. Who would have thought? Unfortunately, no. Her health has not improved at all. Unfortunately, no. I'm just really good at getting most of my work done from bed or the couch, so I have the energy to participate in campaign events and volunteering with different progressive organizations. Well, that's good. Thank goodness. I'm so glad. So yeah, she's doing, you know, talks at these protests in Ohio, looks like. This is the one. I want to talk. She's talking. It's hard to hear and see, but she's doing a talk about, you know, funding VA stuff. Like I said,
this is.
And that's the Let Them Eat Toast.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Ferreira, the progressive congressional candidate for U.S. Congress in Ohio's 1st Congressional District, running to unseat my Republican-aligned opponent in the Democratic Party May 2026. In case you didn't know, July is Disability Awareness Month, and what a better way to talk about disabilities than right here in bed. Disabilities come in many different forms: intellectual, physical, medical, psychological, and invisible. And just because the person you're snarling at using the handicap plates or a wheelchair looks amazing on the outside, the very opposite could be true on the inside. Disabilities also span socioeconomic backgrounds, ages, gender, race, etc. And we're going to learn about disabilities presented from the CDC and the World Health Organization. And I'm going to share some of my story as well, with some great techniques for living with disabilities. According to the CDC, over 1 in 4 adults are living with some type of disability, and about 16% of the global...
Okay, I can't handle it.
I haven't lived in California since November of 2017. I've got a jury summons for Riverside County, California. I have never once in my 41 years of life gotten a jury summons in the state of Ohio or the city of Cincinnati, but this is like my 2nd or 3rd jury summons in California. And I haven't even lived there in 7 years.
So crazy. Okay, so that's what's going on.
They told you to
This is her campaign thing. So it says, Ohio deserves better. Lindsay's the one to deliver. Lindsay isn't just running for Congress. She's running to flip the table. A disabled veteran and working class single mom, that's new, who's lived through the same struggles her neighbors face. Lindsay is taking on the entrenched establishment and fighting to make government work for the something. I guess we don't get to read it. More doggy stuff.
I woke up today and started scrolling on my FYP because I haven't been on TikTok that much because I put in like 50 hours of work, and I keep on seeing on my FYP national parks. And I tell you what.
So that's what she's doing.
And a couple months ago, I was at the DMV because I had to. I'm still wiped out from the protest on Saturday and woke up today to find out that the Pope has passed away, and the last person that he saw was J.D. Vance.
So that's what her page is now. Also, she was Muslim, but that seems to have ended. She's no longer. This is the last time she was Muslim, I guess. Okay, I shouldn't say that. That is wrong. I shouldn't say that. This is the last time she was wearing a hijab before. So then she still is Muslim, but she changed. But just so you know, she was actively wearing one because she has become Muslim at some point in the last couple years.
All the cool things that we are doing. So let's go ahead and hop on this trolley and do our first day in Gatlinburg.
Okay, let's go.
So just in case you missed that chapter. And I guess no, there's different colors.
I'm hoping people will take a minute to watch this with TikTok being banned, I built my small business from the ground up. I put everything that I had into it, which wasn't...
I'm pretty sure she makes beads and bracelets. I think that's the business that she runs. Okay, I'm just being a hater. I'm sorry. But that's what Chronically Rara's up to.
And now the cat's out of the bag, and it's no secret that by January 19th, TikTok will know...
TikTok will never be gone. It'll always be in my heart. Yeah, that's what she's up to. She's got lots of energy, free time, stuff she's exploring, things she's doing. She's an expert on all the issues. She's running for Congress. She's becoming Muslim, undoing that, perhaps. It's a fun world over there. It's a fun world. And you never know what you're going to get. But you know what you are going to get? Not sued by the FBI. Because that's what she told me was going to happen to me. But it never did. She said, I have connections at the FBI and I am talking to them now and they want you to delete your videos. And I said, okay, I will wait for their call. And then I never heard from her again. So anyways, she's the reason I started this channel, so we must give her all thanks and grace and appreciation. And if you're in Cincinnati, get ready to vote, baby, because if you don't, you're an M or F-er, and you should go cry in your coffin grave. That's what they said.
My name is Lindsay Ferrer, and I am running a grassroots progressive campaign to get into U.S. Congress.
Still talking shit behind my back? Good. Means I'm ahead, bitch. You waste your miserable life watching mine, hoping I fall? Spoiler alert, I'm just getting fucking started. While you rot in your dumb ass hate, I'm stacking wins, breaking limits, and leaving your sorry ass choking on my dust. You ain't a threat, you're a fucking background noise. Keep watching, hater. Every damn move I make is another nail in your jealous ass coffin. Screenshot this glow up motherfucker, cause you'll never live it. Keep fucking shit up and spread chaos like a boss.
Screenshot this motherfucker. Well, maybe we'll listen to the podcast in full. I'll give it a listen in advance to see if it's worth it or anything, or if there's video or something. But I could do a long form Chronically Rara video again. I could stomach it. I think she's funny. She's funny, and it's kind of sad, to be honest. Anyways. Thank you for joining. I'm going to sing my song and then I'm going to head out. We're going to have a girl dinner. And I'm going to partake in that. And I'm very excited because Taro had her girl dinner and now it's time for me to have mine. So thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll finish the list and then we'll see what's up. And we'll hang out parasocially.
Wait, what?
I don't know. I'm just riffing here. All right. Peace. And I'm out. Oh, and thank you, Steven. Thank you, Steven. Steven Arredondo. Yeah, so by the way, I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream, that the names are changed in the back end of YouTube, so you might see your real name up here, and I apologize if that's not what you wanted, but I didn't want to not highlight what your name is at. So anyways, thank you to Steven Arredondo, everybody, for those gifted memberships.
We have a lot of really great friends from Canada.
Yes.
And here we go. Time to sing. Yeah. Okay. I see aging student. Do the song in the same vibes as Chronically Rara. Okay. Hey, motherfuckers! You are dust to me. Steven Arredondo. I'm gonna punch you in the face. Then I'm gonna say thanks for the memberships. And then we're gonna say grace at the table. Nicole Campbell. We're gonna have some pie, and then I'm gonna stab you in the eye. Vote for me. A consul. I wanna win the election, but you're gonna be a distraction, cause you are so beautiful. Let's go, Latundra. Chronically Rara says, Rara! Rara. Keyaverse. go to the protest and say, oh no, because I'm not even thinking of you, because I am so cool and big and great and you smell like poo-poo. Really messy. Don't get classy on me. We're gonna go to Cincinnati. Hey, Rabba Gabor. Don't be such a whore. Vote for me, and if you don't, you're a hater for free. Oh God. This got angry and violent. Hey, anger and violence are my words of affirmation. Rebelette Fuentes, do you want to walk around and cry in the grass? Elif Madison does. And you want to shake some ass. Merva Bell too. What about you? Shake it, shake it, shake it. And then I'm gonna also do a poo. Hey, Henna. Do you like bananas? Because I think they got some fiber for ya. Which makes you poo. Okay, I'm sorry. This is going off track. Olive Harper. Are you a snarker? That's how I got my start as well. Snarking on Reddit. Oh well. And I fell in love with snarking. Maya Sloan, can you please give me a loan? I gotta help Rara's campaign, or she'll shoot me in the brain. Kim Possible 11, I think we're in heaven, talking about rah. And she goes, nah, nah. And she is so cool. And she is so gruel. And Taro is in the old videos. That's how it goes. Finally, Bone Palace Ballet 94. I'm gonna knock, knock, knock on your door. And then I'm gonna say, vote for me. Or I'm gonna take ye and swipe it through the guillotine, bitch. Thank you so much. And before we go, I see one more announcement from Nakey Chills. Nakey Chills. Are you naked, girl? Because you are chills. Nakey Chills says, I'm on Ned's MS diagnosis. I have an influencer friend who also was diagnosed with probably MS like Ned, with a wide range of inconsistent symptoms, potentially convenient claim for sympathy. Hell yeah.
Yes.
That's what I think. Yeah. Other people might say
no,
but that's what I think. So
nobody blames the egg.
He probably ate eggs, is what I'm guessing. And, you know, we all know what happens.
The medical industry is involved with why eggs are bad.
Thank you, Nakey Chills. Very much appreciate it.
If I were to die, it would probably be choking on broccoli.
That's my final thoughts. Good night.